17 minutes. That's how long you have to sit with Pink Floyd's Dogs before it lets you go. Most people never make it through the whole thing. They hear the first few minutes, get the vibe and move on. But they are missing the point. There is something buried in the middle of this track that is so wrong, so unsettling, that people usually assume it's a mistake, a technical glitch, a bit of tape that got chewed up in the machine. It wasn't a mistake, it was a choice.
We had some of the music. Dogs actually was already largely recorded at some point during the making of it. The animal's idea arrived to Roger and he tied it in to the project.
You see, the Dogs didn't even start as Dogs. Back in '74, the band was playing this raw, angry version of it live called You Gotta Be Crazy. It was faster, frantic, almost desperate. I never expected it to sell as much as Wish You Were Here or Dark Side. There's not a lot of sweet sing-along stuff on it. But by the time Roger Waters got it into the studio for the Animals sessions, he'd slowed it down a bit. He'd let it breathe until it felt heavy. Think how most bands road test a song to polish it. Floyd road tested it for years just to tear it apart and rebuild it into something colder.
Those sounds developed while we were recording it, but basically we knew what the arrangement was going to be more or less anyway, and we knew what it was going to sound like before we started, because we'd been doing it live.
The song is a character study. It's about a specific kind of man, the guy who lives for the deal, the one who spends his life sniffing out weaknesses in everyone he meets. He is not a person, he's a predator in a suit. Waters rides him like a haunting dog closing in for the kill. You can almost feel the weight of the expensive wool coat and the smell of stale scotch in a boardroom as the lyrics follow this man from his hungry youth to a lonely, cancer-ridden death.
I became rather disenchanted with it and thought that too much was lost. I thought it was kind of inhuman and only about money.
Every relationship he ever had was just a transaction. And in the end, the bill comes due. Now there's the thing that really messes with people. Near the end of the song, the voice stops being human. David Gilmour and Roger Waters use these studio effects, vocoders and delays to flatten the vocals. The first lot Roger wrote for Dogs, when it was called You Gotta Be Crazy, were just too many words the same. It's not just singing through a pipe, it's the sound of a person's mind dying before their heart stops. When you hear the line, "Who was born in a house full of pain?" it's limp, it is hollow, and it sounds like a machine trying to remember what it felt like to be a boy. It's a psychological death. It's the moment the dog realizes he has spent his whole life becoming something that can't even scream properly. The music doesn't just sit there, it moves with him. Animals was certainly mostly Roger's ideas, and Dave wrote the music for Dogs. I, in fact, didn't contribute anything, and that was partly because there was enough material from Roger and also because I wasn't feeling very creative anyway. Gilmour's guitar work doesn't just play a solo, it narrates the descent. It starts almost gentle, but then it shifts. It gets oppressive. It feels like the walls are closing in. The band isn't following a verse-chorus structure here. This is a long-form storytelling. The instruments are like a film score, filling in the gaps where the words are too painful to speak. Even the album cover tells the story before you hear a single note.
So why Battersea? I think it's a very nice building. It's very doomy and inhuman.
You know the pig, the giant inflatable floating over Battersea power station in London. But look closer at that story. I was on Battersea Bridge when the pig broke free. I drove down to the power station where the band were watching and saw this look of schoolboy glee on Roger Waters' face. On the second day of the shoot, the pig actually broke loose.
When a steel, I think it was a steel ring about that size, broke.
It drifted right into the flight path for Heathrow.
With a rifle to shoot the thing down should it escape, to puncture it so that the gas would escape and it would come down. I think he was having his lunch when the wire went, and by the time he got out of his car and, you know, loaded his rifle, it was gone.
Pilots were calling in reports of a giant pink pig flying through the clouds.
Wait a minute. And the helicopter couldn't stay with it.
Pink Floyd road crew went down that night, picked it up. We reinflated it the next day and flew it again.
The flying pig is the symbol of hope.
It eventually landed in the field in Kent, scaring the life out of a farmer. But here's the kicker. The image on the cover? It's fake. The real event went so wrong that they had to composite the sky from a different day. Even the perfect image of Floyd's most famous album is built on a failure that nobody saw coming. I like the crude symbolism and the four phallic towers, and I saw the pig as a symbol of hope. Animals is often compared to Orwell's Animal Farm, and you've got the pigs, the sheep and the dogs, but dogs is the one that stays personal. It's not about the system or the government, it's about what that system does to one guy. It's about the cost of winning. Waters had seen these people in the music industry, the sharks, the handlers, and he watched them hollow themselves out for a bigger paycheck. The song ends right where it started. Just dogs barking over a repeating loop. No big finale, no lesson. The ambitious young dog is gone, and in his place is something forgotten and alone. I was doing the dog whistling. I used to bring Tina, my golden retriever, into the studio with me when it was overdubbing time and it wouldn't be that crowded. Most fans can hum Money. They know the words to Comfortably Numb, but Dogs is the one that actually stays with them. It's 17 minutes of watching a soul disappear in real time, engineered to sound exactly like a mind that has finally, completely run out of things to say. This was a fun video to make, because Dogs, it's a special song. Thank you for watching and wish you all the best.